guys, it's Sam, and today I want to do a book chat on new releases versus the backlist. So this is a never-ending struggle in my head for what to read and what to prioritize, because for the most part, BookTube really prioritizes new releases. Really, the book community prioritizes new releases. You're always talking about the newest release, what's coming up next, talking about the new release on Twitter, really prioritizing arcs, and it's just like, everything is like, what's happening next, what's happening next, what's happening next. I've always been somebody who really focuses on more of the backlist and wanting to catch up on older titles. So the backlist is all old titles that are either already like finished series or just older stuff that hasn't just come out. So especially because I've been getting way more into adult science fiction and fantasy, there's a plethora of backlist titles that I've wanted to get to, things that I, in my head, almost consider like the canon of what I really want to get into, like the Liza Locke Lamora and The Name of the Wind and Robin Hobb and all the Brandon Sanderson stuff that he's released and everything. There's some books I just really want to get to as being able to compare it to other stuff, because it's just stuff that's kind of been the tried and true stuff, the tried and true releases that people really talk about. And the great thing about talking about the backlist is that so many people have read those books that those reviews tend to get a lot more engagement anyway, because people have already read them. And a lot of people do tend to read and watch reviews after they've already read the book, so you, like I said, you get a ton more engagement. You know, stuff like my gripes and gushes get more engagement when the book is older because people already know about it. But there's this giant push for new releases, and I wasn't really fazed by that push necessarily. I mean, like, yes, new releases are great and really fun, but now I'm struggling with the fact that I am really starting to like watching and monitoring the different book awards that come out, especially around, again, science fiction and fantasy. So the Hugos and the Nebulas are something that like I've been paying attention to the last couple of years. And I wish that I could get to a point where I've read the majority of the titles before they're announced, so I have more of a kind of stake in it, because it's very hard once things are announced to then try to catch up and read like the whole long list or short list or whatever that particular award has. So I hope that actually next year on some of these award categories I'll have read more of the stuff, but that means I have to prioritize more of the new releases, and it's hard. Basically, it's like, how do you decide what is most important to read? Again, and it's not based on whether something's a new release or a backlist that I decide on something anyway. I'm very much a mood reader, and I'll just go to my shelves and be like, what do I want to read today? Oh, I don't know. So now I'm like, okay, in my head I should be prioritizing like either backlist or not. I think in my head I'm still prioritizing backlist a bit more. There are those, like I said, canon to me series that I want to get to that are very long, and you know, like authors that are very prolific and have wrote a ton of stuff, like hello Robin Hobb and your multiple trilogies that I need to catch up on. But at the same time I'm like, oh, I want to know what the new stuff is. So do you guys have this problem? Is this something that you struggle with as well? I don't struggle as much with the YA new releases anymore because I very much narrowed it down to what I do and don't like. So that's not a problem anymore. I think I've mentioned before in my most anticipated releases videos recently that I'm not finding as many new releases that I'm as excited about, particularly in the YA genre, just because I'm much more focused on the adult SFF right now. But now I'm like, oh, I want to read all these books as they come out, and like, I want to be in the room where it happens, even though I've never listened to or seen Hamilton, but I know the reference. Does that make me a faker? I don't know. How do you decide? How do you decide what to prioritize? Are you much more of a backlist reader, or are you more of a new releases reader? And then once the new release period for that book passes and maybe you haven't read it, then what happens to it? Where do those books go? To like the island of lost toys, where they're like in the middle and they were just released recently, but like they aren't quite backlist yet, but we've kind of forgotten about them because the next new release is happening, and just the hype train of the online book community, Twitter especially, of just like, this new release is coming up, it's coming up, it's coming out, and then you never hear about it again after it's released. And there's not enough time in the world to read all of those books, particularly if you're into a genre that really has a lot of big books or a lot of series. I envy the literary fiction people, because I feel like a lot of the literary fiction fans have mostly standalones. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, I need to read this 5 other trilogies before I can get to this one trilogy that's recently being released. They're like, oh, I can read this one book by this one author that they release books once every 5 years. It's like, oh, I'm jealous, but I'm not, because I really do like the science fiction and fantasy. It's my current fave. It's all I want to read. but I just can't decide what to read first. Did this video make any sense? I don't know. It's probably really rambly, but comment below, let me know what you prioritize yourself with your reading. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.